Well, it all sounds like most people are willing to forgive and forget. Joining me now in the studio is Alima Hotaki from the sports desk. Alima, what's the sense among fans right now? What are they saying? And what does this all say about Bayern Munich?
A very good question, and I think it's a question of what sort of example do Bayern want to set. It's obvious that they won't discriminate against somebody with a criminal record. Bayern officials have said time and again that this man, look, he's paid for his crime, let's move on. But for me, the bigger picture in all of this, Brian, is the entire Uli Hoeness re-election. What does this say about society? Because to me, it's a microcosm of, is society too soft on white-collar crime? And I say this because most ex-convicts struggle to find a job if they have a criminal record.
He's coming right back,
exactly,
right at the very top.
Exactly, and they're often caught in this cycle of poverty, imprisonment, and but yet you look at Uli Hoeness, he's an exception because he's being welcomed back at Bayern Munich, one of the biggest clubs in the football world, with open arms.
And so quickly, too. He just got out of jail in February. Some people were saying it might be a couple years before he comes back, and it's just been, what, 9 months, right? Was it a question of when, then if, based on what you're saying?
Honestly speaking, Hoeness, when he resigned, these were his own words, it's not over. So, you know, and people need to understand that Hoeness, this is a man with a fighting spirit. I mean, he survived a plane crash in 1982, so any sort of criticism being directed at him, he can handle that. That's not a big deal for him. But you always had the sense that, you know, he would come back because the club never really, while he was serving his sentence, the club never really distanced themselves, you know. They never really spoke ill of him, and top officials continue to say, this man is very important to us. And even players, for example, Thomas Müller said that we miss him. You know, he was the go-to guy at a club. So Hoeness really was like family. And family, most often, we tend to be biased. We treat them differently.
Yeah, we do, don't we? You know, it is an incredible story of someone who came from a very modest, humble background, rose, fell, now he's rising again. And don't we all love those kind of stories? I mean, it has a lot of attraction. What are the papers saying?
Well, the papers actually today, they were quite silent. I think when the scandal first broke out, right now at the moment, and it was almost like it wasn't a secret. People knew he was coming back. But some of the fans and members that I talked to, and this really doesn't surprise me, they still regard this man in very high esteem. And I don't want to sit here and paint a completely negative picture of Uli Hoeness, because
the fans would not like that.
Yeah, I might rub him the wrong way. But honestly, people who know him describe him as a very compassionate man. So there's also like a very great side to him. And I mean, this is a man who's also used his own money to help former players struggling with addiction, struggling with financial problems. So
he's done so much, you know. That's why it's important not to judge and condemn.
Exactly. There's also a lot of positive, you know. And so I can understand why fans have this tendency to be so forgiving and so lenient towards Hoeness.
What can we expect from Uli Hoeness a second time around?
More of the same. And by more of the same, I mean success. This is a man who was the general manager for 30 years.
That's why they're going to bring him back, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And people need to understand that, you know, he's so ingrained into Bayern Munich's identity that the club is today where they are because of him. He's business savvy. You know, he helped them clear their debt. He attracted sponsors. And also the entire, the model that they have, the financial model that they have, it's sustainable, it's healthy, and it's admired the world over. So, yeah, he's a very valuable man.
So what you're saying is valuable, not only in terms of rehabilitating people, helping people out, getting rid of the debt, but you're saying we can expect more silverware in the trophy cabinet.
That as well. I mean, they have a stellar record under him. And you know what also helps right now, would help Bayern Munich, is that Hoeness is a very controversial man. He's a straight shooter. He says what's on his mind, and that makes for great headlines. So newspapers, media, they love him. But you know what? Bayern really need a man like that right now, because they're undergoing right now a very poor spell of performances, and anything to take attention away from that. So why not?
It's only an up way to go there.
It is. With Hoeness, yeah, you can't.
When are we going to get word on this? A couple hours later tonight? When are we going to hear?
So German time, that would be later tonight. So probably really late into the evening.
Late into the evening. Okay. All right. Well, Alima, thanks so very much for bringing us up to date, and we'll see what happens with the rise again of Uli Hoeness later this evening. Okay, Alima, thanks so very much.